All right, here's a quick video, guys, of a ramp that I'm building that has an extended dovetail. It's only 3 inches. It's not very much, but there is a bunch of factors that I have to take into consideration when I make the dovetail anything other than the standard length. This is my ramp here. This is the standard one. This is 3 inches longer. And just to run through real quick the things that have to be changed. The hitch mount has to be longer by, I think it's 2 3/8 of an inch, but I haven't figured out the exact length yet. The other thing is that if you look on a standard ramp, the slot starts about 1 inch from the bottom of that mount piece there. On this one, it's 1 inch from the bottom, adding plus 3 inches. So it's exactly 4 inches from this piece here to here, to the slot. Now, initially I was going to do it like that, but I've decided to extend the length of the dovetail, or the hitch mount itself. So I'm going to cut this all the way down so that it's the same from here to here where the slot starts as it is on the standard ramp. And that'll put the support in the same location relative to the end of the dovetail section itself. So those are the things that have to be changed on that. Obviously my pre-cuts for these won't work on this, so all of that stuff has to get freehand cut, because I can't use my custom saw fence, which has settings for all of these pieces. So I got to freehand cut it, which is not the end of the world, but it does add some extra time. I can't use my drill hole jig because these are longer, and the drill hole jig is specific for these sizes here. I can't use my template table when I'm putting it together because it doesn't fit. So that has to be built freehand on the welding table. Again, not the end of the world, but certainly some added labor. I do need to buy some more mesh, not for the dovetail itself, because the 3-inch strip on this is not really, I have enough for that. But what's funny is I don't have enough to make these dovetail ends longer, because they've obviously got to be long enough. Like this piece here needs to be 3 inches longer, which will make this piece probably will stay the same length, but this one will have to be longer, and that piece will have to be longer. And then the jig that I use to place the latch pins won't work, so those have to be welded on freehand. The legs have to be shorter, so I'll have to put it on the angle table and then just cut those custom length, which again, not the end of the world, but then it won't fit in my jig for when I make the legs. So it's mostly labor. It's not that much extra material. The other few things, like I use, obviously I have pre-cuts, but if I can't use them, then, that cuts down on the speed in which I can build it. What else here? I don't think there's really anything else other than that. It's just you know what it is? The boxes. I pre-cut the boxes for the dovetail section. So if it's 3 inches longer, then I've got to recut another box. And, again, not the end of the world, but the package is bigger, so it does cost more for shipping, even though the weight is not that much higher. So there's some things that go into making a custom ramp, even if it's only 3 inches, in length or longer. All of the other components will kind of be the same. Like I said, it's just the legs will be shorter. But that's about it. I just wanted to do this video because this is something that's a little bit different, so I'm not, repeating myself a million times. Oh yeah, so this one is mine. I built it a couple of weeks ago, and it hasn't been outside yet, but it's already starting to rust, especially where the metal has been ground. So I need to get this thing coated. I have a bunch of different options, and they're all floating around in my head right now. I do need to offer a powder coated version. I do know that. I know people are asking me for it, and I always say no, mainly because at this point I've got to build it, then I got to take it to a powder coater, then I got to go back, pick it up, then I got to bring it back and package it. So that's gonna add some some cost to it. So it'll be an option. I'll always sell a base ramp unpainted for those who don't want to spend the extra money or would prefer to spend the time painting it or coating it themselves and saving the money on that, because that was one of the reasons why I built this and why I sell it for the price that I do. I want to keep it affordable for the people who need something like this, who, you know, might go with a trailer, you know, in its place. And again, I didn't build this to replace a trailer. That's why it's removable. I use, when I had mine, now that I got it again, I'll be using it on this next grass cut cycle. But when I was using mine, I only used it 2 days a week. And then the other 3 days a week, I pulled my trailer. So that's why I needed to be able to remove it. But anyway, as far as the painting and coating is concerned, the first few ramps I did paint, and I was using Rust-Oleum. And what I did was I used, my trailer is all flat black, which is why I have that color there. I don't like the way the ramp looks when it's flat black, but the gloss black is not bad. So I used the spray cans to paint the frames, just the solid metal pieces. And then I used the same color, but in a, you know, a gallon or a pint, whatever, you know, probably a pint will do. And just put it in a, you know, in a roller setup and just roll the mesh. Because if you try to spray paint that mesh, you lose most of your paint. And then there's, you know, tons of overspray and it just gets all over everything. So, so that's the easiest way to paint it, really. Just, you know, spray the frames and then roll the mesh. I have painted these before by just with a paintbrush, just painting the entire thing without any spray paint at all. But it looks better if you spray the frame of it first. And it takes less time too. So there's that. I did buy this Raptor liner probably 6 months ago now. And, you know, I got the acid etch primer and all that stuff. And I planned on coating one of the ramps with the Raptor liner to see how it would work. But I have a feeling that the powder coating is going to be probably right around the same cost as this Raptor liner, if I were to offer it. Because again, you know, you can buy the kit for whatever. I don't even remember what I paid for this now. Maybe $120 or I don't even know. But, you know, then I got to add labor. And the preparation for spraying that stuff takes some time. So I'm kind of thinking that the powder coating may, you know, may kind of bump that out as an option. So I might just use that and take the bed liner out of my truck and spray my truck with it. But there are a few options, and there will be some options coming in the future. People have been asking me if I can add some surface area to their truck bed before the Dovetail. And the answer is yes, in short, I can. But again, as far as the shipping is concerned, I'm pretty close to the limit without it going into an oversized shipment load. And then it's just not worth the cost. So, but I'll get that figured out, and then, you know, hopefully I'll be able to offer that. So, anyway, just a little bit of a different video. So I figured I'd do a video on it real quick. And if you guys have any questions or any comments, man, let me know.